All right, so we have, despite the setbacks of maybe a little bit of lag here, we are going to get going with our character creation. Please continue to have input and in the creative process, and we'll get through it. It's just its own thing, okay? We'll do our best. Let's find out the gender of our character. 68, it is a male character who is a, well, that's a reroll on a 10. A 4. A human, and an odd human at that. So a variant human. Okay. A male variant human. Oh, you just now got it? Okay, yeah, it does look like it's about a 2-minute delay. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, only 20 seconds? Hey, Bubonic. Yeah, Dark Wolf, I can do that. I can type them out in chat for a real time. I'll still narrate them, but I'll type them in chat, so you all can pay attention there. What is our human's alignment? 1214. This is a lawful good human. Medium-sized. And the level at which we'll be generating this character is 60, which is indicating...
I've returned notice me, Draggo the Great.
Draggo the Great. Thank you very much. You have fulfilled the prophecy, Draggo the Great. The egg of the king is yours. We're generating a level 14 character. 4, 8, 12. We're looking at 3 stat bumps, and let's see if any of those are replaced by feats. Rolling a 13, no. So we will get 1 feat by virtue of being a variant human, but the rest are going to be stat bumps. Better not be a bard, you say. Well, we'll find out. We'll see. We're going to generate a 13-sided die. 8. Background number 8. A noble or a knight. Okay. So let's write that up here. And that means the feature is either going to be position of privilege or... oh, shoot. What's the one with the NPCs? Cohort, cadre. We'll get to it in the book. I'm just going to write NPC. Oh, entourage or something like that. We'll get to it, so hang in there. And we'll decide which one fits the character as we continue to develop him. Pardon me. So now we get to what class will our character be? Big golden D12. Looks like Norton the Knoll is hoping for me not to roll a 2. And there's only one way to find out. Are you ready? 3. Cutting it close, huh, Norton? A cleric. So we have a cleric of what domain? There are 7 different ones. So I'm going to roll a d8 and we'll re-roll an 8 if we get it. 3. A cleric of light. Okay. There we go. Not dying is a preferred strategy in Dungeons and Dragons, Spillheart. That is for sure. A fighter, a ranger, and a cleric, Bubonic one. We're getting a very traditional party together, aren't we? Alright, now we have a human. They start at 4 feet 8 inches tall, and we're going to add 2d10 inches to his height. We're adding 6. Alrighty, so 5'2" it is. 5'2". We're taking that same 6 and we're multiplying it by 2d4 pounds. So 8. We are adding 48 pounds to 110. 158 pounds. And lastly, let's determine how old our character is with a percentile roll. 23, he is a young adult. So we look at column 2, right over here. We cross-reference it with human, and he is between 16 and 25. So we're going to roll a d10 and add it up. 9. All right, so he is 24 years old. Young adult, 24. 2d8 personality traits. Well, that's a 3 and a 3, so we know what one of them is. Let's re-roll. There we go, 3 and a 4. And now we're going to roll 3d6 and figure out his ideal bond and flaw. 3, 5, 1. Excellent. We now have all of our placeholders that are necessary to generate our character. So we can retire our random roll guide. Reset it back to the top. Away with you. And now we'll hop over to Chapter 4, which is the background. We have a very devout party. 2 acolytes and a cleric. Scrolling through, they are listed alphabetically here, so we are going to go to N for noble. Here we go. Zoom in a little bit, so hopefully you all can have an easier time. A fighter and a cleric, how does that work? Just because, well, because we have a fighter character, a ranger character, and a cleric character, Norton. Skill proficiencies, history and persuasion. There we go. We're going to fill in the little dots here, indicating that we can add our proficiency bonus. We'll have a tool proficiency in some kind of a gaming set. So we'll just put some question marks after it, and we can always go back and fill that in, you know, based on his personality, how he expresses himself, and go from there. Language is one of your choice. All right, so humans get common and one other, and being a noble is going to give him another one still. Equipment, a set of fine clothes, a signet ring, a scroll of pedigree, and a purse containing 25 gold. So you can buy, oh, pardon me. You can buy a little bit more in the shops because you have a little bit more coinage to spend. They don't give you a ton up front. Now, oh, it's not entourage, it's retainers. That's what it is. We get 2 options for our background. Are we a noble or are we a knight? And then there's 2 features. Do you get a position of privilege, so people recognize you and that opens doors? Or do you have an entourage of servants of some kind that are following you? Traditionally, non-combatants, if you go knight and maybe you have a squire, maybe your DM might give you a combatant, like a companion of some kind. You know, similar to like a Beastmaster Ranger, like a CR 1/4 or something along those lines. That's up to you and your DM to discuss, though. All right, personality traits. Number 3. No one could doubt by looking at my regal bearing that I am a cut above the unwashed masses. And number 4, I take great pains to always look my best and follow the latest fashions. There we go. Sorry, I'm adjusting in my squeaky chair here. That's Draco. Kind Kind of, right? Although you're going sorcery, you're definitely creating a lot of light. We're having a connection, Spillheart. We're having a connection. His ideal is 3. No one could doubt by looking... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm still in the personality traits. Hang on. There we go. Ideal is 3. Independence. I must prove that I can handle myself without the coddling of my family. All right. That's not a bad goal, huh? Yeah, we have a snob, Bubonic. We have a snob. Though an independent snob. He wants his own brand of hobnobbery. Right? Hobnob with the snobs. You engage in hobnobbery. Oh, that kind of sounds like Cthulian or something. Anyway, his bond is 5. Oh, pardon. My loyalty to my sovereign is unwavering. And his flaw, because look, we're all flawed creatures, is number 1. I secretly believe that everyone is beneath me. And you may say, okay, so hang on. No one would doubt by looking at my regal bearing that I'm a cut above the unwashed masses. That's true. However, everyone means even his sovereign to whom he's loyal, even to other nobles that might equate themselves to him. He secretly believes that everyone is beneath him, not just the unwashed masses. It's just that he might be a little bit more open about the unwashed masses. Yeah, if it's a secret, it's a very poorly kept secret, Spillheart. All right, so now we look at this, right? He's a cleric of light. He seems to want to get out from under his family's skirts, you know, and go out into the world and not be ushered and protected by them. You know, he wants to be free to make his own mistakes and to go and prove himself. Is he going to venture forth as a noble and invoke his position of privilege? A noble, and he's going to take some retainers to serve him? Or is he going to venture out as a knight? And if he's a knight, you know, so someone in armed service, because not all knights need to wear, you know, plate mail and be a sword and shield. If he's a knight, do you want him to be a knight with a position of privilege? I'm sorry, I'm not tired. It's my body reminding me to breathe or something, right? Gotta get that oxygen. So he can venture forth as a knight, and we can give him position of privilege. So he fights on his own, but his bearing does open doors. That might cater a little bit better to his independence. Or we can just give him a knight, you know, grant him his knighthood, and he gets an entourage of retainers. So the retainers serve him, maybe not necessarily his family. Maybe that's a way for him then to still feel independent. Spectre says, so our party of 5 in Coffee Cat's room are all of our D&D group. Everyone is listening to this character and saying, that's my character, because a good portion of us play bourgeois jerks. Well, these are things to think about, and all of you can have some input. In fact, propositioning you here, are we going noble, position of privilege, or retainers, or knight, position of privilege, retainers? As you are giving me your input on that, let's continue along and discover what a variant human gets.
Well, I know why they're naming him Draggo.
You want to name him Draggo? we can do something along those lines. Yeah, he may be born into it, or Coffee Cat, with the way that some hereditary law works, if he's not the eldest male, right? If he's the second or third eldest male, he, a lot of times, progeny, second, third, fourth, surviving progeny of noble families go into the clergy and or the military. Humans. I'm sorry again for yawning. I hope I'm not making you all yawn at home. That's not what I'm intending to do. 2 different ability scores of your choice increase by 1. I guess we could throw 1 in like wisdom and charisma or something just to show that we have these available. All right. We do get proficiency in a skill of our choice, and I'm open for what skill you think he'd be. In which skill he'd be proficient. If he secretly believes everyone's beneath him, do you want to give him deception also? Or if he wants to survive out in the world on his own, do we actually just want to give him survival? Do we want to give him insight so that he can measure if people are judging him? He already has persuasion by virtue of being a noble, Coffee Cat. Draggo Vanderzan. Coffee Cat, you think you should get insight? Okay, we can give him insight. No problemo. Alright, base speed is 30 feet. That's going to give him a 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. We get 0 dark vision. And we already have our languages. Caro, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. And we will get a feat for being a variant human. Nah, follow me if you want to live. Do it now. There we go, the 3rd. Alright, that's what we get for being a human. Let's collapse this and come over to classes and go to Cleric and discover even more. We are generating a 14th level Cleric, so we're gonna get all of this information here. Our proficiency bonus is a +5. We will get Destroy Undead. CR3. We will know 5 cantrips. 1, a 2, a 3, 4, and 5. Our spell slots, we have 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. There we go. Nice, easy reference on the very first page, huh? Nice. Down here, we can do something like channel. We'll call it Chandev. And we can channel divinity 2 times. 2 times per rest. There we go. This little box down here is nice because if you play a monk and you want to throw your key points somewhere, or a paladin with lay on hands, you can have that on your front page. And even if you don't, if you just play a straight up fighter, I don't know, you have a quiver of 20 arrows, you can fill that in down here too. Clerics are a D8 hit die class, so we're going to come up here, fill in an 8. I'll show you a little bit closer view. And because we're level 14, we get 14 D8 hit dice to use to recover ourselves after some sort of exertion of combat, a skill challenge, a dungeon crawl, something like that. Armor proficiencies. We get light and medium armor, as well as shields. All simple weapons. No tool proficiencies. Our saving throw proficiencies are wisdom and charisma. Here and here. And we get to choose 2 skills. From medicine. Actually, all that's left is medicine and religion. With history, insight, and persuasion, we got those by virtue of being our background. And Coffee Cat had insinuated that he has insight for the skill that he's getting as a variant human. So if we do that, then that's going to give us medicine and religion. There we go. Confetti, thank you very much for coming along on the journey. All the people, thank you, Coffee Cat, and all of you Coffee Cat, you Bean Juice nerds, Bean Juice feline nerds. Thank you for coming along and being a part of the channel and who we are and what we're doing. There's the notification. Ah, run! Is he a streetwise fellow? Maybe not. He seems to have grown up above, in a bit of an ivory tower, a literal or a metaphorical one. We're going to get some starting gear, a mace or a warhammer if proficient. Let's sneak a little bit and see what proficiencies our domain gives us. We're lifting up the skirt to peek at the ankle. Hang on, everyone. This is getting PG-13 in here. Light domain. We get a bonus cantrip, not a bonus proficiency. So for our domain, we'll put LD for light domain. We get the light cantrip.
All the follows were ooh.
All the follows, yes, indeed, Spillheart. Thank you very much again for the dono or the bits, the cheers, etc. All right, so we are going to start with a mace, so we can deliver blunt justice. We will start with scale mail. There we go. A light crossbow and 20 bolts, or any simple weapon. Well, I guess it's here that we can ask... I don't know. Does he seem like he's a ranged weapon user? If he wants to prove himself, right? Let's go back and look at his personality. No one can doubt by looking at my regal bearing that I'm a cut above the unwashed masses. I take great pains to always look my best and follow the latest fashions. Independence. I must prove that I can handle myself without the coddling of my family. My loyalty to my sovereign is unwavering, and I secretly believe that everyone is beneath me. Hi, Santa. Good to see you. Santa, you hang on for the ride because Twitch is dropping frames or something, so there's a little bit of a delay. Hey, Own Dog. Good to see you. Cerebral Mischief. I like that name. Thank you also for the follow. Oh, the drops are seeming fine? Well, hopefully so. He needs a bow to start, but grows to use a sword as he becomes braver. So yeah, we can do something like give him a light crossbow. Quiver with 20 bolts. A priest pack or an explorer's pack? Alright, so here's the question. While he is a cleric, do you see him actually performing rituals, or has he received the training and is using the training for his own ends as he goes out into the world to explore? That's something that this can be indicated by his selection of his starting gear. It's an aspect of his personality, right? Why would you buy something that isn't a reflection of you in some way? Tracy, you think an explorer's pack? Okay. That makes sense. That's what I was leaning towards as well. I do see him as very independent. He received training from his seminary school, and he has just struck out, and he's not beholden to a church or to a community like our other two acolyte characters are up here, where they'd be expected to perform a service. Not that he couldn't, but he has, he wants the independence, exactly. He thinks highly of himself. Alright, so it sounds like we're definitely sticking with noble, and we're sticking with position of privilege instead of retainers. Do I hear a cat getting into mischief? Maybe not. Alright. Shield and a holy symbol. So for the shield, we're going to fill in this little doohickey up here indicating he has a shield. And remember, though, you can't always wear a shield and do things. So your AC might flicker a little bit. And a holy symbol. Next up, spellcasting we will do last, because that requires some ability scores to figure out, and that's one of the last things that we do for our character. Because remember out there, your character is so much more than your ability scores. So I think it's a fun way to practice building characters without even considering what the scores are. Who are they? Where does their heart lie? What is their reasoning for things? Right? We're doing a lot of character building in chat right now. We don't even need to worry about what his ability scores are. We will later, but let's build who he is first. That's why he's so loyal, because service to his god. So he will serve this god, and he does so as a quick route to power. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I don't want to bring I don't want to bring those outside influences into our fantasy realm. All right, so we have our divine domain. We rolled up that he is a cleric of light, of the light domain. At second level, we are going to get channel divinity. Instead of just turn undead, we looked a little bit ahead in the future because we're generating a higher level character. That's going to turn undead's going to go into destroy undead, and the challenge rating at our level that we're generating our character is a CR3. Our second aspect, our second channel divinity, will come when we look at his domain. Yeah, his holy symbol could be a family crest. Exactly, Caro. So yeah, destroy undead, bada boom, look at that. At 14th level, CR3 or lower. Why even bother rolling a bunch of dice when you could just poof a bunch of skellies by using your divine intervention? It's powerful. I'm not divine intervention, that's its own thing. By using your destroy undead. Just remember though, it's limited. At this level, you can only do that twice. Now, we do get something called divine intervention. And for every level you are, as a cleric, once a day, you can try and call on the aid of your god to recreate some kind of a spell effect or ask a favor. Does your DM have to give you exactly what you wish for? Not exactly. Especially if you want very powerful or unique things. Though if you're asking, and of course, look, every DM is going to vary in how they interpret divine intervention. So it's something to consider. How would you use divine intervention as your own characters? Or if you play clerics, how have you used divine intervention in some way? So there we go. This, at 10th level, that's the last thing you get by virtue of just being a cleric itself. Any other abilities we're going to get through our domain. So we come over here, life, and...
Will any of you mortals take my crown?
Oh. Spillheart is throwing down the gauntlet and is challenging you mortals. I guess that excludes King because he's kind of a lich. So if any of you want to challenge Spillheart for Stream Boss, he's sitting and wiggling his butt in the Stream Boss throne. King. Light domain. By the way, you are a very combative cleric. Everything must burn and purify in the light. We get some light domain spells. So what we'll do is come down here and we'll indicate that these are our domain spells. I'm doing this to show that these will not count toward the number of spells we can memorize on a particular day. We get these just because we are a light domain cleric.
Compared to me, leeches are mortal. Wahaha.
Spillheart's just spilling bits everywhere. Oh no. At least you're cleaning it up. Thank you for that. Burning Hands. Fairy Fire. Flaming Sphere. Scorching Ray. You have no need of you have little need for extra combat spells if you really don't need them as a light cleric. Daylight and Fireball. Fireball, yeah, that's right. Clerics cast Fireball. Or at least this one does. Guardian of Faith. Wall of Fire. And Flame Strike. And Scrying. Ooh, isn't that nice? Fun selection of domain spells. Let's see. We did get one. We did also get a domain cantrip, which is light. And then we're sitting on 5 others. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Four, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. There we go. Warding Flare is an ability that we get through our domain. We also are going to get Radiance of the Dawn as our second channel divinity. You can use your channel divinity to harness sunlight, banishing darkness, and dealing radiant damage to your foes. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and any magical darkness within 30 feet of you is dispelled. So that does not mean Hunger of Hadar, everybody. You do not dispel Hunger of Hadar. Additionally, each hostile creature within 30 feet of you must make a con saving throw. A creature takes radiant damage equal to 2d10 plus your cleric level on a failed saving throw, and half as much on a successful. And also, Warding Flare is nice because if someone's attacking a friend of yours, you can just, it's sort of like a flashbang, and you can intervene. We get Improved Flare. Improved Flare. Then we get Potent Spellcasting at level 8. You add your Wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any Cleric cantrip. This is a very damagey, assaulty Cleric. And our next gift in our archetype, Corona of Light, does not occur until level 17, so, well, it is what it is. Use your action to activate an aura of sunlight that lasts for a minute or until you dismiss it. You emit bright light in a 60-foot radius and 30 feet beyond it. Your enemies in the bright light have disadvantage on saving throws against any spell that deals fire or radiant damage. So, it's good for comboing, maybe with a paladin or other clerics. I'm sure you could build like a pretty cheese around that ability, but it is also late game, so you're definitely committed if you want to try and cheese a 17th level feature. 1 bit, I believe, is 2 damage, Spillheart. And if you donate, you heal yourself the same. Or you should, anyway. Alright, so congratulations. We have a Cleric with our archetype features. We can zoom out here a little bit. Oh, PDF just kind of... There we go. We are almost to the point of being able to drop in... well, you know what? We could drop in our basic numbers, right? We use the standard array. And the standard array is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. I imagine if this guy wants power...
Number 2.
Number 2, helping engineer the future. Thank you very much for that, Spillheart. He's probably going to want that 15 in Wisdom, since that is where his clerical power draws. I can also presume if he wants to present himself as a leader, or if he presents himself in a way that he wants to be persuasive to others, I think that charisma might be his second highest, right? I secretly believe everyone is beneath me, so that's going to make him, this is going to give him, he's good at persuasion, And that's going to give him a very high resting noble face for deception, intimidation, and performance, if we do that. Now, if you have another idea for the stats, please lay them out and just give a little prompt. I don't mind rearranging things. I'd love to hear your ideas and your concepts. So, high wisdom, high charisma. He's probably, look, if he's sipping tea and he's shiny, he's a shiny, happy person. He's very involved in his faith and magic. I don't know how physical he is. No one could doubt by looking at my regal bearing that I'm not a cut above. He always looks his best. Independence. I must prove that I can handle myself without the coddling of my family. I think we might be going for a very high mental stat character and a very low physical stat character. So what if we did this? 15, 14, 13. And then we go something like 12, 10, 8. Dex, Con, Strength. Divine Power and Righteous Might still in 5e. Those might be certain domain features.
Matt, I'm not very patient. I can't wait till end of stream. Just take my money.
Oh, Spillheart, thank you very much for all the bits. Spillheart is in second place for donations, and is first place definitely for Stream Boss. I appreciate you making all the comments and going above, and if this is what you are willing to donate to the stream tonight, I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. And your support means a lot and will continue to provide for the continual investment in the community. What do you mean 10, 8, 12, the old man? King. Thank you again, Spillheart. That means a lot. It really does. We'll get rid of this. He already has a name, Draggo Vanderzand III. If we stick with this, it's going to put his wisdom at 16 and his charisma at 15. So there go his racial modifiers. And now we can hop over and look at Chapter 6 for what kind of feat would he take, right? Some of them can increase ability scores, and so we can consider it. Though something I'm actually thinking of might be Spell Sniper. If we go here, not Sharpshooter, Spell Sniper. You've learned the techniques to enhance your attacks with certain kinds of spells, gaining the following benefits. When you cast a spell that requires you to make an attack roll, the spell's range is doubled. Your ranged spell attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. You learn one cantrip that requires an attack roll. Choose the cantrip from the Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock, or Wizard spell list. Your spellcasting ability for this cantrip depends on the spell list you choose from. Charisma, Sorcerer, etc. It makes him even more magical. All the power, all the magic is his. He wants the power. Yes, he's lawful good, but he thinks that he can wield that power righteously above everyone else that he secretly sees as being below him. Spillheart, thank you, and I hope that Becky thanked you as well. I'm sure that he did. Becky's a really cool dude, and I love being able to watch his different variety streams when I can pop in and do so. You're really great, Spillheart, not just for helping to support me in this stream, but for especially because Becky is just starting out. I think something like that is a huge boost, and will encourage Becky to continue making the content that he does. That's really cool of you, dude. Really cool. Oh, okay. Shh. We'll be quiet about it. Right? So if he's above the unwashed masses, he carries himself at a distance. So he's not particularly physical. So I think something like Spell Sniper would allow him a lot of mobility. It would allow him to stand back. It would allow him to have a variety of ways to punish evil foes. If you want to see something different for a feat, you are welcome to throw one out there. For the time being, I'm going to put Spell Sniper, as that seems to fit his idiom, in my opinion. But again, this is not my character, this is our character. Now, that does not modify any of his ability scores. I don't know. Looking back at what King said, 10, 8, 12, the old man. If that's like a trope of like an old man would have a 10 strength, and 8 dex, and a 12 con, we could possibly do that. I see him, though, he's not necessarily a young man. He's still a spry, he's a spry young adult. So I did want to kind of reflect that he can be a little bit twitchy with his higher dex. Uru's Rune, great to see you. Magic Initiate might work, although Spell Sniper is pretty good. Well, you know, whichever one we choose, let's go take a look real quick at Magic Initiate, and that will allow you all to consider. Choose a class. Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock, or Wizard. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from that class's spell list. In addition, choose 1 first-level spell from the same list. You learn that spell and can cast it at its lowest level. Once you cast it, you must finish a long rest. Before you can cast it again. Your spellcasting ability for these spells depends on the class you chose. Charisma for Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wisdom for Cleric or Druid, or Intelligence for Wizard. That's very true, Uruz. It's kind of a 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. We know he wants to pursue magic, and he doesn't intend on really getting into combat all that much. So, I mean, giving him a shield is nice. He's been trained how to use it, but I don't know how much he will. You know, so Warcaster, I don't think Warcaster's in there. But yeah, you know what, Uruz, either of those I think would work very well. So it really just depends on what you all would like to see him have. What would really be in this character's persona to take? Now, we're going to give him his stat bumps at level 4, 8, and 12. Remember, when you get an ability score increase, you increase your one ability score by 2, or 2 ability scores by 1. I definitely see him rushing to get maximum power, right? So what if we put in, what if his wisdom, like we max out, it's 20 as soon as he can get it. At level 8, he has maximum wisdom. Well, you know what we can do for our last one? Why don't we bump up our charisma to 16 and our intelligence to 14? Especially if we're going to give him, through either of these feats, some optional spells. Having a high charisma or intelligence will make him even more powerful. Norton, I'll take a look at it here. We're almost finished with this character. I do look forward to seeing it, though. Spillheart, those are some really nice emotes, too. Those are some plump chickens. That's going to give his strength a -1, dex 1, con 0, int 2, wisdom 5, and charisma 3. Now that we have these numbers, we've dropped the engine in the car and the power can start flowing. Strength saving throw is -1, athletics is -1. That was kind of easy. Everything dex is going to be a straight up 1. Constitution is going to be 0. Wow. Where's our staples? That was easy button. Intelligence, saving throw 2. Arcana, investigation, nature is 2. We are proficient in history and religion, and each of those are going to get 7s. He will be a bit of a know-it-all, at least in those spheres. Wisdom, 10 saving throw, and 10 insight, and 10 medicine. Otherwise, not bad. 5 animal handling, perception, and survival. Lastly, charisma is going to be an 8 saving throw and 8 persuasion, with a pretty decent 3 deception, intimidation, and performance. Initiative is simply a dexterity check, and so there we go. It's +1 because that's what his dexterity modifier is. His armor class, well, scale mail starts at 14, and you can get a boost of up to 2 points of AC based on your dexterity modifier. So in this case, he's only going to get the 1, and he's not maxing out his 2. So he's sitting at a 15 AC unless he has a shield, in which case he'd have a 17. So however you want to represent that through the little radio button that's a shield up here. If he's not equipping it, he's at a 15, and if you fill that in, then you know you add +2 to it, or however you do it on your end. I'll just make 17 and show that he has a shield. Yeah, careful, Spillheart. You are making a gnoll very hungry. You got to watch out for that. His hit points. At level 1, you get your maximum HP of that your hit die provides. In this case, clerics are a D8 hit die class. You get 8 hit points. All the other levels, so all 13 of them for a level 14 character, you get half +1 of your hit die. In other words, 5, right? Half of 8 is 4, +1 is 5. Unless I'm missing some new math or something somewhere. So we have 13 times 5. Then for every level of your character, so all 14, you get bonus hit points based on your dexterity. Right, dex. That'd be an uber stat, even more than it already is. Based on your constitution modifier. So in this case, 14 times 0, that's pretty easy. We're going to remove that from the equation. So here we have 65. Plus 8 is 73. At level 14, he has 73 hit points. Sarai still has a chicken in her inventory. Yeah, well, you know, they've been kind of frozen in time, Dark Wolf, haven't they? Our passive perception is 15 because it's 10 plus your perception modifier, and that represents your natural awareness, and it saves you a ton of dice rolling. It does. As a DM or a PC. Now, he has a mace, and he has a light crossbow. How often is he going to use them? Probably not much. Maybe he'll use them to try and intimidate. But this is going to be a good show of how to calculate your 2-hit and your damage. With a strength-based weapon such as a mace, it's going to be your proficiency plus your modifier. So in this case, he's swinging a mace at a +4. Maces are 1d6. 1d6 damage, that is bludgeoning. And you also get bonus damage equal to the modifier that your weapon uses. So in this case, it's 1d6 minus 1. Light crossbows are 1d8. However, he is going to get a +1 damage to this piercing weapon because his dexterity modifier, which most ranged weapons invoke, is a 1. Therefore, he's actually going to be using his light crossbow at a +6 if he decides to use it. right? 5 from proficiency, 1 from dexterity. Now his spells are going to be a completely different matter. You're going to calculate your spell to hit the same. We are casting off of wisdom as a cleric, so it's 5 plus 5 is 10. If he is rolling to hit with a spell, he gets a plus 10, and to resist the effects of his spells, you need an 18 or higher. You know, or I guess if I'm the DM, I would need an 18 or higher to get out of the way of his fireballs. That's a really high number. It's very potent spell casting. Your DC is always 8 plus your attack modifier. And your attack modifier is your proficiency bonus plus your ability modifier. So, we mostly have a character. The only thing to really go over, right, if we're casting as a cleric, spells prepared. You can, as clerics, know every single spell. What limits that potential is how many you can prepare as you pray at the beginning of the day or whatever appropriate time. And that is a number equal to your cleric level plus your wisdom modifier. In this case, we can prepare 19 spells on top of our domain spells. How you want to distribute them is completely up to you. If you want to just go unlimited power and go three level 7s, 3 level 6s, and so now we're down to 13, and you want to go just, 3s all around or whatever, you can do so. Or if you want options, you could really load up and get 7 level 1 spells, because a lot of spells do allow you to cast at higher levels. So maybe you load up on a bunch of lower level ones that you can cast through your higher level slots. Clerics get to be flexible. You get a lot of loosey-goosiness. Just with the exception of, this comes after an hour of prayer after a long rest, which is 8 hours. Unless you're an elf with trance. So that would be up to you, right? And don't forget, too, depending on the feat that we end up choosing, in this case, it would be Spell Sniper. For Spell Sniper, we would get some other kind of a cantrip. And if it is a cleric cantrip, we get to add our wisdom modifier, so an extra 5 damage on top of cantrips, because of our potent spell casting. It can be very redonkulous. This guy is damaged for days. Our spellcasting ability is wisdom. Our save DC was 18, so that means our plus to hit is 10. We can also channel divinity 2 times a day. And there we go. Congratulations! We have our 3rd character. Now that we have 3 of our 5 random characters, we can see a direction that the party is going in, and that can help us influence the region in which we want this week's campaign sample to take place. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to take about a 10-minute break and go get a snack. Please, everyone out there, you do the same. Get a snack, use the restroom or whatnot. And when we come back, we're going to delve into the Dungeon Master's Guide. We're going to go over region or settlement creation, okay? And we're going to have some fun and see where this takes us with whatever kind of a map. And we can talk about geography, geology, culture, a lot of things that are going to help bring flair. To your campaign world as it begins in whatever starting village or region that you generate. Dark Wolf, I haven't yet. I will take a look at that during the break, and I'll make sure to put it up on screen when I come back from it, okay? Technotron asks, would I make a PC of yourself, human variant with point buy? I don't know. That'd be kind of weird role-playing as myself. I guess it'd be an interesting challenge. I just don't see myself as doing that, though, Technotron. Although, you know what? That's a good open question. Do any of the rest of you... can you answer Technotron's question? Would you ever make a PC of yourself? And in put yourself into this fantasy realm. What's that called in anime? Isekai, if I recall correctly. I think that's its own. It's very much its own genre now. After Dot Hack and Sword Art Online, and all of these other, I think Isekai is a very popular consideration now. So, all right, everyone, 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll make a map. We'll make a region, a culture, a people, etc. All right.